Pleasure. Recently in the publication or in news is the fact that the government of Kenya has allocated.
Under these agreements, we promote science and technology cooperation. We usually have the government-to-government committee. We usually have the science community dialogue session to propose us the proper way and technology cooperation in a bilateral basis. And when I look at this Japan-Kenya cooperation, regrettably I have to say that it's still rather sporadic, not so well targeted. Although I want to emphasize at the same time that we have been doing a lot of cooperation in the field of higher education, including some research cooperation. For example, our cooperation to KEMRI, Kenya Medical Research Institute, has lasted 27 years, and it made a really good outcome, and it includes some cooperation in the area of research. And then we have also a very long-term collaboration with KEFRI, the Forestry Research Institute. It lasted since 1986, so we have achieved a similar result like KEMRI. And then there are another very famous example, JKUAT, Jomo Kenyatta University on Agriculture and Technology. We cooperated more than 20 years to establish this higher education institute as one of the best quality universities in Kenya. Then follow up to this JKUAT projects. We are also now implementing this ICAD project. This is to promote research, joint research among some universities in these East African countries. The efforts are still going on, but I'm quite hopeful that this project can also get a very good outcome, just like what we have implemented with other institutes.
And this is why we want to go beyond just putting money in the universities. We have not put enough money in our universities with regard to science. But even as we think about expanding those resources that are available in our universities, we want also to put in more resources in middle level institutions, because our top scientists would require middle level scientists to support their research, to support the implementation of those results. Unless we have a strong foundation in science, in primary schools, in our secondary schools, we are not going to have the human resources that are going to take scientific development or scientific knowledge further in our universities. And this is probably the area of the greatest challenge, to begin to already get young people to begin to appreciate science, to demystify science so that it's understood by those more ordinary people who have not had access to academic education. But just to ensure that we have the foundations for scientific development in our primary and secondary education, so that we have many more advocates of science when we get to university. The Science Technology Act will be repealed to allow the re-establishment of the National Council for Science and Technology, so that it becomes a more responsive commission for science, technology, and innovation. This bill is soon to be presented in Parliament, and we hope to be able to make our National Council for Science and Technology more effective, to have 4 key departments. The one for the National Research Foundation, a public funding research agency, the National Technology Acquisition Office, the National Innovation Agency, and a tribunal to arbitrate in matters of science, technology, and innovation. But as we arbitrate, we hope that it's not going to be used to be another excuse to muscle scientists, not to let the scientists be able to go out there, explore, and research without being questioned too much by government. And I say that because we come from a tradition where scientists, both the natural and social scientists in this country and many countries, needed research clearance from government to be able to undertake research. In many ways, even though there are reasons sometimes for guarding certain secrets, that was often used as an excuse for muzzling research, for censoring researchers, and it discouraged the extent to which people could get into political life without being part of that politics.
By government.
Is it possible that we can completely exclude ourselves as scientists from politics? Because we think politics is for people who are different from us, who are people we don't trust very much, people who often tell lies, and a lot of what they say has nothing to do with their scientific findings. And yet we have to rely on those same people to support whatever we want to do as scientists. So it's not enough to say, we can be apathetic, because a lot of scientists are apathetic. They never care about, political movements. You never find them involved in any political party activities. Very few of them will be interested in voting because they think, they are scientists. They will get nowhere until they appreciate that they have to engage those very same people they despise, because these are the people who control the resources. When I was a student, sometimes we used to make fun of social scientists. Why is it that scientists think they're so clever, and yet they leave it to people who are not so clever to manage countries and do nothing at all to even influence that? So therefore, what is the use of that smartness? If it is just book knowledge that is not used and that you cannot prove, that it can also play a role in not only influencing politics, in terms of influencing governance, but also questions about what is it that we can do, what is it that science can do for us in terms of helping us resolve some of the major political problems. Is there a role for science in helping us deal with tribalism? Is there a role for science in terms of helping us deal with the issue of corruption? Because if we can address these kinds of issues and you have appropriate governance structures, it will be much better for scientists themselves, because it will no longer be an issue whether or not there is merit in supporting scientists. So we have to play politics. And for me, I don't have any room for scientists who think it is not their business. It is more of their business than anybody else, because they seem to know a lot more that politicians seem to know.